one of the biggest seabird rescue missions South Africa has ever seen. The Cape Cormorant chicks seen frolicking in these pens were abandoned by their parents back in January. More than 50 volunteers and staff at this centre work night and day to save as many birds as possible. No easy task, as Cape Cormorants do not do well in captivity.
So we did have a high mortality rate in the first few days and weeks, and that was mainly because of the stresses they had as they were coming in, mainly because of the dehydration and the stress and that sort of compromise. And then later we had some bacterial infections as well.
The survivors learned to swim, to fly and to eat. Cape Cormorants mostly survive off anchovies and sardines, but the numbers of these fish are in decline. The chicks were abandoned because their parents did not have enough to eat. That is the belief of researchers who are worried about the impact of fishing on biodiversity.
What's been very difficult is to be able to show an ecosystem approach to fishing. I think at the moment, the requirements of the fishing industry is what's driving most of the decisions. And what I am concerned about is that the broader ecosystem needs aren't appropriately taken into account.
Cape Cormorants are not the only victims. The population of African penguins has declined by 90% since the 1950s, partly because they too cannot find enough food to eat in the waters of the Western Cape. Unlike large industrial trawlers though, some fishermen do take measures to limit their impact on the environment.
So we're just scanning the area and we're trying to narrow down our fishing area for the day.
This is line fishing.
Okay, hold your lines.
Fishing for snook, a kind of mackerel, has long been practiced in the region. To make a living, these fishermen must reel in hundreds of them every day.
Come on, Oaks! We're going to work hard today to find a few fish, and you can see the amount of boats out here all trying to earn a living today. The snook that we're trying for today, when I was a young boy, we used to catch it everywhere, all around the coast, almost all 12 months of the year. Now we only get a season of a couple months.
These fishermen say that they catch in a year what a trawler can bring in a single day. They point the finger at foreign fishing fleets.
I would say foreigners, China. Yeah, they come quite close. We go lie right next to them, catching the snook as well while they net the sardine, chovy. Then the snook is right next to it. Like you mentioned earlier, the snook runs with the small fish. But then they also get the snook in the nets, and that could also be part of the problem.
Line fishing normally brings in less unwanted bycatch than the trawlers.
That's a shark. That's a glow shark. Glow eye.
No, I was wrong. Here's some bycatch. We'll let him go. So, this is just a little blue shark. And not what we want, but one of the benefits of fishing the way we do is that anything that we don't want can go back.
Small fish are not the only victims of the trawlers. Great white sharks, for example, are becoming rarer and rarer off the coast of Cape Town. Marine biologists say it's essential to educate the population.
Being aware of the diversity of sharks we have, and also recognizing their importance in the ecosystem, because top predators, yes, no doubt play a very important role in the way the ecosystem is structured and how it functions, but all the smaller sharks in between that aren't necessarily top predators, they also have an important role to play, and people need to be aware that shark, fish, prawn, it's all important, and we rely on the ocean as a food source.
Scientists advise the government working with ministers to avoid overfishing and illegal fishing. The authorities say they take this very seriously.
Just yesterday or the day before, there was in the news one of the poaching syndicates that we have dealt with, where the head of the syndicate basically was given 244 years imprisonment sentence. Well, it was for several cases, but in essence, he's going to serve effectively 18 years imprisonment for fishery offences.
Local fishermen are compelled to respect quotas set every year, and scientists continue to fight for the protection of endangered species. The cormorants, now adults, are being progressively released on the island where they were born. The hope of all involved is that they will survive, contributing to the status of the Western Cape as one of the world's top biodiversity hotspots.